Now this graph has everything. It has an amplitude change, a period change, a phase shift, and a vertical shift. All right, so let's, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to factor out that coefficient right there. I'm going to factor out the 2. That just makes it easier for me to find the phase shift. All right, so we have y equals 3 sine, we'll pull out the 2. 2x divided by 2 is x. Right? And then, that's our b, 2 is our b. And then we have 2 pi thirds divided by 2. And dividing by 2 is the same as multiplying by a half. Right? So the 2's will cancel. So that makes sense that pi thirds is half of 2 pi thirds and plus 2. Right? So those would cancel. And let me know if you have any questions on any parts. The other thing you could do to find the phase shift is to set the 2x minus 2 pi thirds equal to 0. Right? So you can find it by factoring. Actually, I'm going to factor out b. So factor out b. Or you can set 2x minus 2 pi thirds equal to 0 and solve. Both of those work just fine. And I'll just show you. So 2x, I just add 2 pi thirds. And then I would divide by 2, or better, multiply by half. And we'd have x equals pi thirds. Either way, our phase shift is pi thirds to the right. I'll put it over here. Phase is pi thirds right. Right? So I just chose to find that first just to show you the 2 different ways that you could find that. Let's identify the amplitude, one of the easiest things, and that's just the coefficient on sine. So the amplitude is 3. We do have a period change because b is not 1. So the period is 2 pi divided by b. b is the coefficient on x, so b is right there, the 2. Or over here, the 2. So that would be 2 pi divided by 2, that's pi. I've seen that one before. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. All right, so we have our amplitude, our period. And let's find the values for the period change. So we take our period and divide by 4, so that would be pi fourths. We're going to count by pi fourths. We'll start at 0 and count by pi fourths. The only other thing to identify is a vertical shift, and that's the value added in, so that would be 2 up. All right, so we have all of our parts there. All right, and so let's fill in our x and our y. This is, so x doesn't change. 0, pi halves, pi, 3 pi halves, and 2 pi. It's the quad angles. And the values of sine that go with those angles is 0, 1, 0, negative 1, 0. Right? And then to the x's, we are going to change the period. We'll still start at 0, but now we're going to count by pi fourths because our period is half as long. It's only pi. And pi. All right, so those are our values for the period. All right, and so notice the last value matches the length of the period because this is one period. And then to the period, we're going to add in the phase shift. All right, so since we're moving pi thirds to the right, we're going to add pi thirds to all of these. And we'll have fun changing to get common denominators because none of the denominators match. Oh, this one's easy. Pi thirds. And this one's easy. Pi plus pi thirds is 4 pi thirds. All right, so pi fourths is the same as 3 pi twelfths. And pi thirds would be, let's just actually change these ones right here to 12ths so we can add them in, or 6. So 3 pi twelfths is pi fourths, plus pi thirds would be 4 pi twelfths. Right, because 3 times 4 is 12, so it has to be 4 times pi. So this is 7 pi twelfths. Pi halves is the same as 3 pi 6, and pi thirds is 2 pi 6, so this is 5 pi 6. And then 3 pi fourths is 9 pi twelfths, plus 4 pi twelfths is 13 pi twelfths, and hopefully you can read that there. So we have our values. We better make them go up by twelfths. That is our x. All right, so those were a little tricky because we had to change denominators. Next would be the amplitude. We just multiply our y values by 2, so that is easy. So 0, 2, 0, -2, and 0. That's the easy part. And then vertical, we're just going to add 2. So plus 2, plus 2, plus 2. We'll have to change our scale because I only got 3 lines up here. So 2, 4, 2, 0, and 2. So I suppose each of the lines, yeah.
You have to do 3, not 2.
Oh, sorry. Grabbed the wrong value. Whoop. Well, then this is all bad too. I looked too fast. I think the last one was 2. Sorry. 0, 3, 0, -3, and 0. And we're still adding 2. So now it's even a better idea to change the scale. So 2, 5, 2, -1, 2. And we'll make each of the y values, these will all be worth 2. So 2 and 4, and then it'll fit. -2, -4. And we'll go up by twelfths. All right, so, and I don't have to really worry about the left-hand side, but I guess I'll label it. So let's see if it'll, hopefully, I think it'll fit. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, it will not fit to go up by twelfths. We will have to make it go up by 6. So each line will be worth a 6. So this is pi thirds, 2 pi thirds, pi, and 4 pi thirds. That'll fit. And then we don't need it, but on the other side would be -pi thirds. All right, and then we've got everything. So now let's go ahead and graph. All right, the vertical is our y, the phase is our x. Because last time we did something to x was phase, last time we did something to y was vertical. So we'll graph the point pi thirds 2. Oh, let's also graph our midline, almost forgot. So the midline is y equals 2. So let's go ahead and graph that. Our graph will oscillate around that. All right, now we can graph. All right, so we have, actually I'm going to graph in purple, but I can leave the blue up there. Pi thirds 2. So that is right. Oops. Oh, I picked up the marker. It's not purple anymore. No, it's purple. Pi thirds 2. And then we have the point 7 pi twelfths 5. All right, so now that's, so if each one's a 6, halfway is a 12th. All right, so this would be, pi thirds would be 4 pi twelfths. All right, and then this would be 5. We need 5, this would be 6, 7. So 7 pi 12ths, 5 would be right here in the middle of the box. Sorry about that. And then 5 pi 6, 2. All right, so each line's a 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoops. 5, stop. 5, 6 is right there, and 2. All right, and we are symmetric, so it looks good. And then our next one is 13 pi 12ths, negative 1. All right, so that's just going to be one, like halfway between boxes right after the pi. And that's negative 1, so that's right here in the middle of this box. And then the last one is 4 pi thirds 2, and that is right here. So this we're just going to do one period, and I think that's all it might fit, but here it is. Actually, 2 periods would probably fit, but I don't really feel like drawing them. And there we go, and that's going to keep continuing. The domain would be all real numbers, and our range, our low value is negative 1. You can see it from the table. The high value is 5. And there we go. We're all done.